Hey everyone, Danielle here. My pronouns are she, her. It is currently Wednesday. I had to think about that hard for a second. Wednesday, July 8th. This is the first clip of my July vlog. And I just wanted to come on and give you a little bit of an update. Both stitching and life. So, this is I Like Cross Stitch by Jet Stitch. I am pretty sure that I showed it to you at the end of June. Right after I restarted it, I just had this little flower and probably part of this motif. I think that's as far as I had gotten. So since then, I added this color. I'm kind of mad that I didn't finish the cherries, but like that was a different color that it only had the stitches for the cherries, so I just didn't want to like pull a whole color just for that. And then I came over and I did this leaf for this big orange flower, and I started on this, but I didn't finish this motif because this and this was like one, set of 6 strands, and I just didn't want to pull more of this color. I was tired of working with it. So then I came over here and I started the blue. And I'm probably going to set it down now because, so today is Wednesday, and tomorrow I fly to Boise for the Stitchin' on the River retreat. And even though it is early in the morning right now, it's 7:30 in the morning, I probably won't be getting any more stitching done today. Because of life, which I'll get into in a minute. But then the projects that I'm taking to Boise are, the whole retreat is Christmas in July themed. So I decided that I would take my, is it Country Cottage Needleworks or Little House Needleworks, whichever one it is. I can never keep those two straight. My NYC village, houses. I'm going to take that with me. And then I also decided to pull 2 projects as potential new starts. We'll see how I feel there, but I did like scan the patterns, pull the floss, pulled one piece of fabric that I can fit both of them on. And one of those is a Little House Needleworks. I know that for sure. It's called Gingerbread Cookie. And then the other one is a Prairie Schooler Santa, the 2022 Santa. Yes, y'all, I might actually finally start a Prairie Schooler Santa. I have been collecting them since 2020. I saw, when I first started stitching, I saw the Santa and realized it was a yearly installment thing. And I was like, oh, that'd be cute to like have the Santa for every year that I've been a stitcher, right? So every year I buy the Santa, but I have never actually started one or stitched one. So, like I said, I got the pattern scanned. I actually put them in markup as well. Got like all of the symbols assigned and everything. So, like, I have no excuse, right? We'll just see kind of what I want to work on. If I just want to work on my New York City houses for all 3 days, then that's what I'll do. And then my plan after the retreat is to, I guess, maybe work on the New York City one longer. I mean, I can work on that in December too, but it would kind of be a shame to just work on it for one day. I could maybe have a goal of finishing. I'm currently working on the second house. Maybe I could have a goal in July of finishing the second house. We'll see. But I also am excited to pull out some other older whips. Like I would really like to pull out my Home in the Garden for Stephanie of Cross Stitch the Globes. Hello, it's my B-Day Sal, or hello, it's my birthday Sal. And also I have a few projects that I'm just like feeling like they need to get worked on in either July or August. So I'm not sure like which of those would come next, but I have a handful. I have plenty of things to choose from. So yeah, that's my imminent plans. I don't know how much vlogging or checking in I can do from the retreat because I am going to be sharing my room with my friend Amy from Minnesota. So I'm not going to have like any privacy at any point, and I just am really bad about I don't I don't want to pull out the camera when like people are hearing me. I don't know, it's weird. I know a lot of people who do Flosstube like suffer from that, and then I know a lot of people like who don't care. Me personally, I care a great deal, so I don't know if I can really check in from the retreat at all, but I'll at least when I get home I'll show you like what I did on the Christmas stuff. As for life, so we had, note the past tense there, we had a buyer for our old house. It was amazing. Like, we were on the market for 4 days. We got an offer. It was full price, but they did ask for for closing costs to be covered. So we accepted, and then we had our inspection, and I was so nervous going into the inspection, just because like, I mean, hello, anxiety, right? But also like, I just had a feeling that the roof was going to be a problem. Like, the house is 20 years old, so the roof is original, and my realtor was like, oh, I'm sure it has a few years left. Like, I'm sure it has a few years left. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And I just knew in my gut and in my soul that it was not going to be fine. And so I was just really nervous, right? And so then the inspection happened on like a Thursday, but late on a Thursday. And then we didn't hear back all of Friday. And then when my realtor called me on Saturday, she was like, well, the buyer's backed out. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what could be so horrendously bad that they would just like bail? And she was like, well, it's not bad. It's not that bad. And I was just like, okay, but I don't believe you. So essentially, basically, yes, the house does need a new roof. And then there was a laundry list of like small things. And when I say a laundry list, it is a long list, but they're like the littlest, dumbest things. Like, it's just like some caulking and some minor window repairs, not like window replacements or anything, but just like minor repairs. There was a couple of the things on the laundry list were a little serious. Like, I guess one of our outlets in the kitchen had like reversed polarity with the GFCI. So like, that's a safety issue. There was some insulation in the crawl space, like near the vents, which it shouldn't be, because then, the vents can't ventilate what they're supposed to do. So like, there was like 6 things that she was like, okay, you definitely need to take care of those. And I was like, okay, on it. So the new roof, and then there's some siding that has failed. Everybody who's looked at it is like, that's really weird. I'm like, well, that's not a good reference. But anyway, like, overall, besides the expense of the roof, right, it's not that bad. But they just spooked, according to their agent. Like, their agent told our realtor that, they were just like, well, they'll never agree to fix everything. Well, how do you know? You didn't even ask. Like, you just backed out. So that was devastating. Just like, if I think too hard about it, I'm gonna cry again. So we had to go back on the market. And since then, it's been like a week and a half that we've been back on the market. We've only had 2 showings, and my realtor is going to do an open house this coming weekend. Yeah, so that's not going well. It's just, I'm so mad and upset that they just backed out. Like, why wouldn't you even ask what we'll do? But yeah, so, but then here at our new home, part of why I'm wrapping up for this morning, even though I still have plenty of time ahead of me in the day, is because I have to prepare for a plumber to come. And so part of preparing for me is I need to get the dishwasher loaded and run so that the water part is done, before he comes, because if he ends up having to shut the water off, I don't know if this is just going to be an exploratory day or if he'll actually be turning the water off to make repairs. So I want the dishwasher to be done, and I have to shower because, again, if I end up with no water. But the reason I'm having a plumber come out is because, like, a few days ago, I'm in the kitchen and I'm always barefoot. My husband always has shoes on because his disability, he has a boot that he has to wear, and then the boot causes enough of a height difference that he needs to wear a shoe, otherwise it hurts his back to be lopsided. So my husband always has stuff on his feet, and so does my brother-in-law. He wears slippers in the house. So, and he wouldn't be able to communicate a problem anyways. So, but I'm always barefoot, and I'm standing in the kitchen, and I just felt something weird under my feet, and I looked down and I was like, oh, it kind of looks like, so we have LVP flooring, and I was like, it kind of looks like or feels like a board is warping or loose or something. And I was like, I wonder if it's always been that way or if this has changed, right? Because you know how it is, you're just living your life every day and then something is different and you're kind of like, has it always been that way? I don't know, I feel crazy sometimes. So, but then maybe the next day, I was vacuuming because I have a Dyson that has a hardwood attachment, and so I vacuum the LVP. So I'm vacuuming and I'm like, this just feels weird. The head is definitely, I could tell when it was hitting boards that were warped, where the seams are, or where they should be flush. I could just tell that they weren't flush based on how the vacuum head was hitting it. And so I was like, again though, has it always been this way or is this new? But then where it started to get very concerning was I would walk into the kitchen and I'd be walking around doing stuff. And then I would, be looking down or looking around or whatever, and I would notice moisture on the floor. And at first I was like, well, it's the kitchen. The kitchen is always kind of wet, especially, God forbid, I had just done dishes or whatever. But what I was noticing was that it was only at the seams of the LVP. So this led me to pretty strongly believe that there's water underneath my floor in the kitchen. And I can only assume that that is from a leak somewhere. So yesterday I finally was like, well, look, I have very limited time before I fly out. And so I got on, looked up a plumber, just went with Google reviews, the highest rated reviews out of the most reviews, so they have 5,000 reviews with a 4.8 or 4.9. So they're coming today, and I'm hoping that whatever it is easy and cheap. Not gonna be cheap, but on the lower end of the expenses, and then I don't know how to fix the floor. Like, I'm not really worried about fixing it in the traditional sense, like having everything be flush again. That I'm not super worried about that. I would be worried about getting it like dried out, so we don't end up with a mold problem. But yeah, so first step is plumber. And that's happening today, sometime between 10 and 2. So I have to get dishes done, get a shower, get ready for the plumber to come, and hopefully not get horrific news. And then I have a nail appointment in the afternoon after that appointment. And then basically, because I've been up since 11 p.m., I'll basically be coming home and going to bed, which is good because I have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the airport at 4:30. So that's the life update as of right now. Oh, the craft room. I'm not going to show it to you right now, but I do hope to include a craft room clip later this month. I did start on my relabeling of the DMC drawers, relabeling/labeling, and I'm done with the drawer unit that already had labels on it. So I am, in fact, a little bit more than 25% done with the labels. It's just such a boring task. Like, there's no dopamine to be had there. But I do need to finish that soon because since I labeled over those drawers, it's now incredibly difficult to find the DMC that I need because I left my master set intact. So those drawers were, they house 8 numbers per drawer, and I left it completely intact so that I can in fact find a skein of DMC when I need one. However, I've covered up the old labels, so now I just kind of have to guess which drawer it might be in and play whack-a-mole, like trying to guess which drawer I need, which will get really old really fast. So I really do need to finish getting those drawers labeled so that I can actually move the DMC into the appropriately labeled drawer, and then I can work on all the extra skeins that I have that need to go into the drawers too. I've just always wanted to keep the master set, intact. Like, that's the most important thing. So I'm working on that project, and then I also, in an effort to avoid doing the labels, I did alphabetize my patterns. Well, it's a loose it's a loosely alphabetized system. So my little magazine holders have always held 3 letters per holder. So I have A, B, C, D, E, F, etc. Except for the last one, because I only have room for 8. So the last one holds like 5 letters, but I only have 1 pattern that goes in there anyway, so it's fine. However, as I was doing that, I realized that I really need the labels. Like, I need to label the magazine holders because I'm a person who I can't place something in the alphabet without singing the whole alphabet. But if that were the only problem, that would be okay. But it's not the only problem, because since they're set, of each one is a set of 3, it breaks up the cadence of singing the alphabet. So then I'm always kind of I'm always kind of second guessing myself if I'm singing it right, because I'm trying to do the cadence of doing it every 3 instead of what comes naturally. So, but these magazine holders that I have, I can't label them. I tried to put some post-it notes on them that were like specifically meant to be little tabs, but those fell off eventually. Like, sometimes they'll hold for a while, but then they fall off. And so then the other day when I was alphabetizing the patterns, I went ahead and I threw up some sticky notes with some tape, but I was like, you need something more permanent. So I did order some new magazine holders that are just cardboard so that I can just write directly on them what letters go in there. And then when I change over to those, which will be after Boise, I will do a better job with the patterns. Basically, if it went in that magazine holder, I threw it in there. Ideally, I don't need everything fully alphabetized, you know, like A before A, B, etc. But I do like to keep all from the same designer together. And then I like to keep it so that if it's A, B, C, all the A patterns are first, and then the B patterns, and then the C patterns. So I do like to, you know, group designer and group letter. Other than that, I don't need to like have it perfectly alphabetized. So when I get those two things done, the DMC drawers relabeled and the patterns alphabetized, I will give you another update. I did actually take out some of my soft finishes like pillows and little block finishes and stuff and displayed them in the room now, so that's nice. So yeah, like the craft room is definitely coming together a little bit better, but it's slow because I don't want to spend my time organizing, I want to spend my time stitching. So anyway, that's all I have for you in this update, this nearly 22-minute update now. So yeah, I will see you on the other side of Boise. See you in the next one. Bye. Hello, Flosstube. It's currently Monday. I think it's the 13th of July. And I'm here in my hotel in Boise. I said I didn't know if I could do a check-in or not because I was sharing my room with my friend, but she had to leave a few hours before me this morning. So I was like, oh, perfect. I can show you all what I stitched on. After my clip, I will include, I did a video clip of the brag table. I did a video clip of the Counting Puddles trunk show and a video clip of the smalls from the Smalls Exchange. So I'll put those in. But I wanted to show you what I stitched on. So day one, I pulled out my Big City Christmas, and day one was a little frustrating because the first thing I did was I built this window frame because it wasn't here. And then, so I built the window frame and then I started stitching the white and I got all the way down and I crossed over and I was like, wait a minute, there's supposed to be 2 stitches here, not 1. So all 83 stitches that I had mustered that day had to get pulled out and then restitched. So what I ended up doing was this window frame, all of this white that you see, so the 4 columns of white, and then these 2 rows right here, and then the stuff that's inside the triangles of the roof. And that ended up being all I netted for the day after the 83 frogging and 83 put back, but all I netted for the day was 309. So really I did, you know, almost 400 with that debacle, but I digress. I went ahead and left this on the Q-snap because I may work on it when I get home. I'll have to see how I'm feeling. It would be lovely to get this house done. However, my goal for projects is to move them 10 to 20% per year. And I've actually, this one is like sitting about 20% right now. And I only started it last year. So I've definitely done like more than enough on it to satisfy, you know, how far I would like to push this project along at the pace that I would like to. But it would be nice to like get maybe more of this building done. And then in December, I could just like finish up the building perhaps. So that then the next time I put it on the Q-snap, I could be over further and, you know, start more of this stuff over there and whatnot. Basically what I'm saying is it would be lovely by December to have another finished building. But yeah, I don't like how my backstitch for 34th Street shows up. I don't know what to do about that, but we'll see. I think, oh, and then this project is also missing, like, there's supposed to be French knots for his eyes and like stuff in a wreath over here. I'm eventually just gonna do beads, but I'll do that when the project's done. So that's how I how far I got here. On day 2, I started my Prairie Schooler. It's the 2022 Prairie Schooler Santa, and it's the one with penguins that are holding Christmas lights. And this is how far I got. Basically, the main color of one penguin is done and his boot, and that was 312 stitches. And then the next day, which was Sunday, the last day of the retreat, and so the shortest day, I flipped this fabric over and I started the Little House Needleworks gingerbread cookie. And I got, this is ecru, and this is the whole border except for each corner has got a leaf and berries. So, but other than that, it's the whole border done. So yeah, that was the stitching I did. These 2 projects I will not work on again until December for sure. So I took them off the Q-snap and was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not gonna show you everything from the retreat, but let me just show you a few things. So Maggie, and you'll see this, I might just have a picture of it, not a video that I'll insert, but Maggie from the shop, Maggie's on Main, she created this pattern for us, which is a beautiful Christmas ornament. And part of the retreat was actually you got this frame and this mat, but you had to do the watercolor yourself, like the transfer of the design and the watercolor yourself. I opted to not do that. It was kind of a long process, like it was like an hour and a half. And I personally thought I would find it frustrating and just not how I would want to spend an hour and a half of my time. But from everything that I hear, like Maggie was a fabulous teacher. A couple of the people at my table felt like they didn't have a good time with it, not because of Maggie or anything, but just because, like, perhaps like me, it's just not how they're, you know, it's not how they're creatively, you know, it's just not their particular brand of like creativity that they want to do. And I was like, I know, like, you don't know unless you try, but I had a strong inclination that I wouldn't enjoy the process. So I opted to not do it. But I did, and at first when I saw the pattern, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty. But it wasn't until I saw the stitched version, which again, I'll put the picture in, that I was like, oh, actually, no, I really do like that. But I think what I would like to do is make it a triptych. So stitch it 3 times, but do the red and then do a green and a blue. So yeah, and this is all the little silver that you see is Krynic, and then there are beads. So it's really pretty. I took a picture of the model. I will insert it. And so then I bought, once I decided like, oh, it's really pretty, I do like it, I went ahead and I bought the kit for it. But I did give the fabric to my friend Amy, because since I'm going to do it as a triptych, the fabric was cut too small for me to be able to do that. So I just kept the beads and the floss and the Krynic, where are the beads in there? I don't see them. Oh, there they are. They're in this baggie that's back here hiding. So I kept the rest of the stuff to hopefully someday do it, and then I'll just pick out a blue and a green. The kit that we got that was exclusive for the retreat was from Counting Puddles, Lindsay. She is local to this area, and it's this cute church mouse. The whole theme of the retreat, if you couldn't tell and I hadn't said, was Christmas in July. And it's very sweet, but I knew from the get-go that, you know, I have never been drawn to stitch Counting Puddles because I personally cannot with the backstitch. I think that she is so smart and so talented, and she was here at the retreat, and she talked a bit about her background and how this whole texture thing is what she's really into, and I do think it's so cool, but you know, it's just not for me. So I knew from the get-go that whatever the pattern was not probably something that I would stitch, and that would be accurate. But it's very sweet. And she actually, again, I have a picture, or it's in the video, and she had a little it was like one of those little like candle holders that and I don't remember if she said it was like from her family, like adult family that she's, you know, developed since being an adult, or if this was like from her childhood family, but she has a little mouse holding a candlestick holder that was like her inspiration for this design, and it's there with the model. So it was lovely to hear from her. I always enjoy like listening to designers and understanding their process. And she also showed us her first 2 cross-stitch designs ever that she stitched up for her kids. And so that was very cute. So yeah. And then Maggie's also gave us the floss for it. It was just -1. There was a DMC that they just couldn't source, but you know, I was like, well, I have plenty of DMC, and I'm sure if I gift this to somebody, they will have plenty of DMC. So I wasn't worried about it. Also, they pulled 4 different DMCs that they were like, look, these are so close. If you want one of these, we can give you one of these. So they definitely they tried their best. But yeah, so here's all the floss for it. I offered it. My friends Janet and Gloria were supposed to come, but they had some unexpected things come up, and so they weren't able to be here. And I did say, like, if one of you guys likes this and wants it, then you can have it. Then in the Smalls exchange, I got this Mill Hill ornament stitched up. Very sparkly, very pretty. We'll definitely be adding it to my Christmas tree. And I'll probably put it in my craft room, you know, the rest of the year so I can see it. As for haul, I did excellent. I bought 2 pieces of fabric, and they weren't even quarters, they were 8s. So I bought this piece of Mystic fabric called Unity. It's really pretty purple. And it's 14 count. I wasn't even gonna buy it, but like it was just sitting on top of the pile and I could see it from where I was sitting, and I was like, I need to go look at that fabric. So I bought that. And then this ended up being, it's now just getting added to stash. I had a purpose for it in mind when I picked it up, but then I realized I couldn't actually do what I wanted to do with it, which was that my friend bought a fat quarter of this the day before, Amy. And then on Sunday, she started a new project on it. And it's a project that her and I had talked about doing together like a year ago. And so when I saw that the other piece of it was still sitting there, I thought it was a quarter. And I thought, oh, let me just buy the same fabric and we can do the project on the same fabric. So I bought it, and then I realized when we were ringing up, he was like, oh, it's an 1/8. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I did the math on the project, and it won't work on this fabric, but that's okay. I'll just pick a different blue out of my stash so that we have like similarly vibed projects, and you know, use this for something else. So I bought that. The only other stuff that I bought, well, I bought the kit was part of my haul. The pattern was provided with the retreat, but the kit was extra, so I bought that. But that's it. That's all I bought. And then I bought my friend Amy 2 pieces of fabric. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was my sweet friend Amy, who I love so much. She stitched me this and gave it to me. She bought this pattern at Acorns and Threads last year on our trip, and then she stitched it for me because then we went to the beach and stitched it for me and gave it to me, and I just thought it was so sweet. So yeah, I love Amy, and we have this like relationship of like, here, this is for you, stop it, like you do too much for me, and then here, this is for you, stop it, you do too much for me. We're always trying to like get each other back, you know, pay each other back, and like, well, you did this for me, and well, no, but you did that for me, and like gifts and like little, you know, things like that are both of ours like love languages. So anyway, that's surgery. Oh, Hey everyone. Today is Friday, July 24th. It has been 11 days since I last checked in. I will apologize now for whatever kind of cut I had on the last edit or on the last clip. Perhaps was a little abrupt. I don't know yet because I haven't edited the vlog yet. But I had gotten interrupted by a phone call and then never got back to filming. So I don't exactly know where I am going to cut that clip. But it could have been a rough transition, is all I'm saying. So I got home from Boise, and then what did I do? Did I do anything I said I was going to do? No, I did not. I was contemplating continuing working on Big City Christmas. Didn't do that. One of the projects I wanted to get to in July was my home in the garden. Did I do that? Nope. Did I keep working on the Jet X Stitch I Like Cross Stitch? No, I did not. Instead, I started a whole new project. Here we are. This is called Dogpile by Ink Circles. And so I started this because I had forgotten, but my friend Amy, who maybe I talked about this in the haul part of the Boise clip, because I might have mentioned my intention for the piece of fabric that was too small, so I needed to find a different piece of fabric at home. But my friend Amy bought this pattern and the floss for it at Acorns last year when on her trip with me. And then she started it at the retreat. And so I was like, okay, when I go home, maybe I'll start it. And so I did. I came home and I picked out, this is a 32 count Jobelin from Bestitch Me. Okay. And it's called Frost, I think. And this is using the called for DMC. And I'm about half done. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the dogs. And I think there are still 6 to stitch. Or maybe it's 7 to stitch. But either way, this is about half done. And I'm ready to move on. But I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to move on to. I do think it's probably most likely going to be my home in the garden. I do want to work on that. Yeah, so I was going to give y'all a life update in that last clip. That's where I was headed when I got interrupted. And needless to say, life has just not... It's not giving us any breaks right now. I know that I had said I was waiting on a plumber to come because it's like, well, obviously we have a leak somewhere. So the plumber came, and yes, we absolutely had a leak. So 7 weeks prior to us discovering said leak, we had bought a new fridge. I think I even talked about it on here that like I just couldn't handle the side-by-side fridge, so I had to get a new fridge. Got a new fridge, and when the guy installed it, he did not fully tighten the water line connection. And so for 7 weeks, water has been pouring out of the water line behind the fridge. And because the flooring wasn't continuous, there was about a 2-inch gap between the last floorboard and the wall. The water was going under the floor instead of on top of the floor, where we probably would have noticed it within hours. No, instead, it was allowed to continue for 7 weeks. So, obviously the plumber tightened the water line and stopped the water from flowing out of the water line. And then it's just been an onslaught of So here we are. That was the 8th of July. It's the 24th. And no restoration has been able to happen yet because, we've been dealing with insurance and waiting for insurance to approve the claim. And then after insurance approved the claim, the restoration company was like, great, but they need to move out of their house because we can't do the remediation with them in the home. So, we could have immediately left if we were willing to go to a hotel, but I am not willing to go to a hotel with 2 dogs and my brother-in-law, who is severely mentally disabled. Like, he needs his own room, and he, but we need to be able to like be with him except for sleeping. So I was like, no, a hotel is not going to happen. So we have been trying to find a short-term rental, which we have now found. It's looking like, hopefully, today is Friday. I'm hoping that we're moving out of our house on Monday or Tuesday to go to the short-term rental. And I have been assured by the restoration supervisor that as long as insurance doesn't hold anything up, they expect our project to be a 2-week project. But yeah, so here we go. Yeah, just great. I'm just like, oh my God, y'all. I fucking just moved in. I just moved. And now I literally have to move out of this house. Obviously it's not the same, we're not taking all of our furniture and all of our things. But I'm like, I gotta take the dog crate, the dog bed. That there is my brother-in-law's chair. And I feel very inclined to take that because he's mentally disabled. He picks at things. He fidgets in a way that has destroyed upholstery. I don't want to risk destroying any furniture at the rental. He also wets the bed if he is up all night, and sometimes he's up all night because he has a seizure disorder. If he has a seizure, his brain activity is just like on fire and he doesn't sleep. So the bed at the rental is not the same size as the bed that he has here. So I have to buy all new like protective stuff for that mattress. We're gonna have to take groceries from this house and our, enough clothes for like a week at a time, and the dog bowls. And it's just, even like, with my brother-in-law being so, he has specific plates and specific cups that he uses. I'm gonna have to take all that shit. So anyway, oh, and my old house is still not sold. We are hopefully expecting 2 offers forthcoming soon, but still just waiting. But yeah, so here's my stitching. That's my life update. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna take to the rental to stitch. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. I gotta take my light because I can't stitch without my light. I would like to take my little table here because that would make my life easier, but we'll see if I do that or not. So I don't know what I'm gonna take to stitch at the rental. I don't know how much stitching I'll get done. I think I'm just gonna be in survival mode at the rental, and I'm just praying that he's right about it being 2 weeks. I'm kind of just gonna expect a month, but yeah. So anyway, I might have one more update before I call this vlog wrapped up. Maybe I'll just show you whatever I stitch on before I move to the rental and then call it a day on the vlog. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If you can't tell, I'm not in a great space. There's also the fun fact. I'll spare the long story, but my husband is having an issue with his foot, his disabled foot, that might land him back in a non-weight bearing cast. So, yep. It's It's, as I told my therapist the other day, it's been a bowl full of fucking kittens over here. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this clip and see y'all in the next one. Bye. Hey everyone, Danielle here. It's Thursday, July 29th. I profusely apologize for the fan noise in the background of this clip, but the fans are necessary. So we're just going to do our best. I'll try to make it not too long of a clip, and it's going to be the last clip for this vlog. Welcome to Displacement. I am in the rental property that we secured for a month. So yeah, we've been here a little over 24 hours now. We moved in, or no, we moved in Tuesday, but like by the time we got everybody here and all of our things here, it was basically dinner time. So, you know, we've been here for like a full 24 hours plus now a little bit. This will be our second night sleeping here, and you know, it sucks. It just sucks. Like, I am simultaneously so grateful that I'm here, and I hate everything about it. It's, you know, like, it's not home. Like, I think we really take for granted, like, how comfortable we are in our homes and how uncomfortable it is to not be in your home with your things, in your comfort, you know, environment. Yeah, so it's like actually terrible. The yard is not fully fenced, so every time the dogs have to go out, we have to take them out on a leash. And honestly, even if the yard was fully fenced, I wouldn't feel comfortable with the dogs just going out there, because the guy who owns the house has chickens in a coop, and so I don't want my dogs to like terrorize the chickens, because this is their home and I don't want them to be stressed out like that. The house has no central air conditioning, and let me tell you something, I am weak. I am soft. I am not cut out for no central air conditioning. So hence the fans. So the guy did, he has like window units. So we do have a window unit in here right now. And it's loud, y'all, it's loud. And it's because this particular space is so large. It's, you know, it's not super effective, but it's better than nothing. And my husband is a little bit more tolerant of the weather, or like of the heat, than I am. So thankfully he also put a window unit in the master bedroom, and because that's a much smaller space, it's way more effective. So you know, I can kind of chill out back there. But yeah, so no central air, no fenced yard, chickens in the yard. Like, there's just all these little things. Like, there's nowhere to plug anything in. I don't have a table here with me. The stupid doorknob for the master bedroom like squeals when I turn it, and I'm trying to come to bed like all quiet and everything. Yeah, so that was a brutal day. Like, leaving our house, packing everything that the 5 of us would need for a whole month, and also emptying out the entire kitchen, because the guy was like, oh yeah, you got to take everything out of every cabinet and the pantry. And it's like, do you know how many little items you have in a pantry? There must have been 500 individual items in the pantry. Just ridiculous. But anyway, now that I've blabbered on for, you know, 4 minutes, not about stitching. So I've been working on My Home in the Garden from Hello from Liz Matthews. Since I pulled it out, I worked this border down. I'm not sure where I was. I was somewhere around here, but basically I did 2 strands of the blue and 4 strands, I think, of the blue. And it was either 2 or 4 strands of the yellow. I'm thinking it must have been 4. I think, but on each side, or on 2, I think 2 strands over here, 2 strands over here, I think is what I did, because I'm pretty sure I was right about this tree. So yeah, 2 strands over here, 2 strands on the other side. I've also added this green right here. Oh, and this is almost the bottom. This is 3 stitches away from the bottom, so that's gonna be the bottom right there. I've added this green, so this is a full coverage border that goes along the bottom here. So I started doing that. I added this tree, this, and then those lighter greens over there. The darker green trees and purple birds I already had in, but all the lighter green that you see I've added. And I pulled this out for Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. She always does a Hello, It's My Birthday sale, where the objective is to work on Hello from Liz Matthew pieces. And this is my only Hello from Liz Matthews piece, and yeah, I love it. I didn't work on this for as long as I would have hoped, / didn't get as much progress as I would have hoped, but I do plan. I mean, I use the word plan real loosely right now because my life is so fluid. I would like to get this piece out again in September, because in September I like to work on birthday pieces, and this is one of my birthday starts. I started it in 2023, and as of right now I only have about 5,200 stitches left, and so I would like to, maybe when I work on it in September, I could get that number down to about 4,000, and then I would like to finish this piece next year. And it would be great if I could finish it before my birthday, because then it wouldn't even turn 4 years old. And this is a big piece to not turn 4 years old. It's almost 16,000 stitches. She big. She will be one of my largest finishes, though not my largest. And I mean, I love this piece so much. Like, I think I'm not as in love with the bottom as I am with the top. But I don't think it would have made sense to just stitch the alphabet top. I think that this bottom part really does make the piece, and maybe once I actually start the house, I'll feel differently. The thing that I don't love about this bottom is, like, this is full coverage here, this whole band. The house obviously is full coverage, but then other than that, it's just like a whole bunch of little doodaddy things and flowers, which aren't my favorite part. But as you can see, with the border being, you know, I'm nearly done with the border. I have not enjoyed stitching this border, like, at all. So I've been trying to kind of intersperse, you know, do border, do that, do something over here. But yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna put it away for now, just because I could keep working on it, but I really want to have a new start. I am feeling like I deserve it. I need some whimsy in my life, and yeah, so I'm actually, because I did not set myself up to do this very well, I will pause and come back and show you what I'm gonna start. Okay, so this is what I'm starting. It is called Tropic Trope by Plum Street Samplers. When I was in Boise, my Idaho friends were talking about, Patsy is a huge Plum Street Sampler fan and was super sad that she's not going to be at Pinwest, because Plum Street is one of the designers. And I was telling her, like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, Patsy, if I had to put money on a situation, my guess would be that I won't like the design. So I will, like, offer it to you first. And she was like, okay, I have witnesses, right? She said she'll give it to me. But I was kind of thinking, I was like, you know, because, like, nothing against, you know, Plum Street in general, but just the majority of her designs, besides these cute little animals, you know, are, like, very patriotic and very colonial, and that's just not my vibe. But I was looking to see, because I was kind of like, oh, should I try? Because I do have a whip already from the Blue Flower, and I don't have any Lindy Stitches whips because I finished Beachcomber, but I'll take that for the brag table. And so then I was like, well, should I have a Plum Street, like, on the go? So I was looking at her designs. I do own a couple animal stacks already, but I was looking at the designs, and I saw this one, and I'd never seen it before, and I loved it. So I bought the pattern and I kitted it up, and I just decided that I wanted something to work on here in displacement that would just like make me happy. And it'll kind of always remind me of it, obviously, but I think I'm okay with that. And I even though I did bring other whips, like I don't know, I was just feeling like I needed something like new to put energy in. I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, so I kitted it. Let me show you what I did. I did almost all the called for, except a couple. So I did this pile of DMC that's on the right hand side is all called for in the pattern. And then this pile of fancy floss over here on the left hand side is also all called for. And then the three that are up there were originally Weeks Dye Works. And I pulled the DMC for the red. That was supposed to be like Weeks Dye Works Fire. And I thought that the DMC was a pretty close sub. And then I don't remember, it was Weeks Dye Works Ocean. I saw this Pirate and Robin, and that was also a really good sub. Not quite the same tone, but it's isolated down by itself. It's the water in the pattern, so I was okay with it. And then this Leo and Roxy one, which I can't access the name right now, is going to be the other color for the flamingo, and I don't remember what that was. Oh, it was Weeks Dye Work Sockeye, I think. And it's going to be used in conjunction with this Classic Colorworks Storm Lake Surprise. So I really wanted them to like look good together. Now I think that my sub, the Roxy, is a tiny bit more pink than the Sockeye was, but I still think that they look good together. So that's what I'm gonna do. The only color I didn't grab was I accidentally did forget to grab my 310, but that's okay. I don't need it. It's the border and it's the flamingo's like eyes and beaks, but other than that I don't need. Oh, and then it's probably in the flowers, like the stem for the flowers, but I don't need it. I can work on plenty of other stuff without the 310. I don't foresee myself doing this to a finish, but even if I did need my 310, I could go to a craft store, or I can go into my house in a few more days. They have to let it fully dry before they're allowing us to go back in, but that should be probably by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. So I could go get my 310, or I could go to Michael's and get a skein of 310. But anyway, and then I'm gonna stitch it. I'm gonna go whoop. This is a 32 count Bestitch Me Jobelin in the colorway Rainy Day or Rainy Days. And I was gonna bring Ada because I was like, well, you know, it would be easier to work on Ada, but leave it to Plum Street to put in about 50 over 1 stitches in the little faces for the flamingos. So I cannot do it on Ada, so I picked out this even weave. So anyway, I am gonna start this and I will get as far as I get. I don't know how, you know, these couple of weeks are gonna go. I don't know how much is gonna be expected of me. I do know that there are decisions to be made on materials and stuff. I am very excited at the very least that, so there was some cabinet issues that I didn't love, like in the kitchen we have this one spot where it looks like it should be a drawer, but it's like a flip down and there's a cutting board inside, and I hate that. I'm never gonna use a built-in cutting board that I can't wash. So I was like, I don't want that at all. I want a drawer. And then also we have a Lazy Susan, but it's not like, some Lazy Susan cabinets are very large. Like you can really like stick your head in there. Like you could get, you know, half of your body in there to like go digging for stuff. But this one is such like a little tiny Lazy Susan cupboard that I was just like, honestly, there's no point in it even being there because I'm never going to use it. So I do get to make some, you know, minor design changes to the cabinets. I mean, it all has to stay within the same footprint, of course. I get new counters, I get new backsplash, new cabinets. and I had wanted to upgrade the counters anyway. And then because when you rip out counters, you're probably dealing with the backsplash too. I was gonna do a new backsplash. And then also, when you do the counter, that's a perfect time to do the sink, because usually with a quartz counter, you can get the undermount sink. And I love an undermount sink, and also I like sinks that just are one vessel, like no divider in them, because I don't hand wash dishes, so I don't need separate, areas for clean and dirty water. So I'm gonna purchase the new sink because that's not in the scope, obviously. I'm gonna purchase the new sink. I am gonna upgrade to a quartz counter, and those are things I wanted to do anyways. So guess I'm doing it a little early, but whatever. So I am excited to go home to a new kitchen. I'm just excited to go home, period. I'm literally gonna count down the days. And I have decided, even though we could extend this rental if the work goes beyond the 30 days of this rental, I can't foresee the way that this crew has been moving, and the tight timeline that he's like the supervisor, and he does this, every day, and he is like, yeah, we're gonna be in and out in 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, sir, I'm trusting you. But like, even if it was 30 days and they're not done, honestly, I think I'm just going home. Like, the house will be safe from a, mold, moisture point of view. Hopefully, hopefully the floor is done. I think the floor would be the biggest inconvenience to work around, as far as if we were living in the home and they're trying to install flooring. But anything that's not done in the kitchen, I don't care, man. I will set up a folding table with my microwave, my toaster oven, and my slow cooker. Like, I do not want to stay in this rental a day longer than we have to, because I'm just so uncomfortable. I am so not I'm so ill at ease about the dogs and the going out and everything. We actually have a thing we're going to on Saturday, my husband and I, that we're not taking his brother to. And so we have somebody who comes to watch him. Like, we can go away for an evening, with somebody to sit with him. And I'm just so nervous because, like, it's going to be over a time where the dogs are going to expect to go potty. And so I have to trust somebody else, to take them out and everything, and not drop a leash and have them run away. And I just, I'm just so, like, I'm just not comfortable here. I don't want to be here. So I'm not staying here a day longer than I have to. And I think that by 30 days, they better be so close to done that it's like, no, we wouldn't extend, because then honestly, why would insurance pay for, it's a whole 30 days. I don't think insurance would even approve to stay here, and we wouldn't stay 30 days, but that's what they have to pay for, So I think we're going home after 30 days no matter what, unless there's some like catastrophe, which there better not be, but the way life has been going lately, I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, I'm gonna call it here. I know I've already talked for like 20 minutes with this god-awful fan and air conditioner noise, but this is gonna be my last clip for July. The next clip you see will be how far I got on this at the beginning of August sometime, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.